zoom in? Oh, I can. Oh, geez, I can't. Whoa, look at my head, how big it is. I can't, I don't know how else to say this, but if customers were more aware that we all charge different price, like there's not one junk removal company that charges the same price for a piano removal. You know, we're all different. Hello, how may I help you? And we're all different prices. Everybody has different prices. Like I charge 200. You know, someone else charges 300. Someone else is 75. I'll tell you something. We do about four pianos. I meant to say pianos if I said refrigerator. Pianos a week, right? We had 3 in one day last week. Here's the point that I'm trying to say. Is be aware. I hope customers are aware that not all junk removal companies are the same. We all have different prices. We all have different bills at home. We all have, oh gosh. All right, so I did a video. Let me first tell y'all something, and I'm going to tell you, if anybody is ruining this junk removal pricing, it's the newcomers in business. These new small junk removal companies have never seen a dollar in their life. They've never touched $500 or $400 in their hand. I did a video just recently where I posted where this guy had this little small Tacoma. I don't know what it was. It was a small truck, and he was pulling a 14-foot dumpster trailer and was full of metal. I mean, it was full of metal. I had gone to this property about a year ago, and I did a bid on the property. I did a bid on it, and I'm going to tell you, minimum, that was a $2,500 job. It would be 1 load and a half. 80% of the load was about only metal, so it would have been a load and a half. That's what I'm trying to think it was. This guy did that whole job for $500. I'm going to tell you why. Because he doesn't know that his value is way higher than that. He has no idea. Yeah, dude, he has no idea. And I think what someone says, new competition, 500 flat monthly rate, 3 pickups a month, shake my head. Oh, dude, of course, bro, of course. It's crazy because I was asking one of my friends the other day, and I said, so how much did you make this month? He goes, dude, we cleared $5,000. The whole month, he cleared $5,000. And I was thinking, okay, you know, that's a number that, yeah, you got to think about what number that is, okay? So let's think about, let's say you make $5,000 in junk removal in 1 month. Think about that, guys. That is $1,250 a week. Bro, that's a lot of money. Okay, that's a lot of money. $1,250 a week. That is not bad. I mean, I don't know where else you can work for 1 week and make $1,250 a week. I just can't think about that. Now, I average, now that I've been back doing junk removal, I'm not doing all the jobs myself. I am not doing all the jobs. So I'm averaging close to $10,000 to $15,000, more like $10,000 to $12,000 a month. And I am very, very comfortable with that. I mean, I went down from making $40,000 to $50,000 a month on a normal, slow month to now being satisfied. Because, of course, I have my haunted houses, so I'm more comfortable not making as much and not taking that much, so it's hard on my body. I don't even think that's an excuse. That's just the truth. The point is, when you're new to junk removal and you're making $600-800 a week, that's great. That is great, dude. You're a stud. Once you make the $10,000 mark, you're like a god, right? You're thinking you're a god because you just started junk removal and now you're making $10,000. In your lifetime, would you have never thought making $10,000 in junk removal would have been, in any job would have been great for you, you know what I mean? Or you didn't even know it was out there. He'll get returning, or yeah, he's going to get returning and refer cheap customers, and he will. I've always done that. You know, I will tell you this in North Bay. Let me tell you this. My refrigerators, till this day, are $45. Now, I do use my refrigerators in my haunted house, which is a big change for me, okay? And a lot of people don't understand that. But I'm picking up a refrigerator right now. I got another one that I'm picking up in Arlington, and then I have a piano today. I'm going to tell you something. Those are just customers I'm putting my foot in their door. That's all it is. I'm telling them who I am. I talk to them really cool. Every refrigerator removal that I do, I'm always cool with the customers. I always have some kind of conversation with the customer. And I think, I'll tell you this much, I think that's good business. Long term, that's a great business. That's a great business. I don't think it's a problem. Listen, a lot of people, here's what a lot of people do. They go get these yard signs, and they put these brochures, and they put door hangers on people's houses and stuff. I do refrigerators for $45. You know what I mean? So I've turned those $45 fridges into huge jobs, that have benefited me and my family. I did a video just recently. That was close to my heart. I was on my property in Azle, Texas, and I went out there and I looked at my property. I hired a company. The same day that I hired the company, I bought an RV for my haunted house. But I went to go, I looked at my property, and I hired a mulcher to go by and just mulch everything on my property. And just to look how big it is without the trees, I was just blown away by that. I was totally blown away with it. And it's a huge, huge step for me to take in my life. And I thought to myself, and this is the point, as I'm looking at my 6 acres out there in Azle, I'm realizing how much and how many refrigerators I picked up. Isn't that crazy? But eventually they do pay off. They do pay off. It's a big payoff for everyone. For me, I'm sorry. I just want customers to realize that it's an open field out there of opportunity to get an expensive junk removal company or get a cheap junk removal company. And I'm going to tell you, there's more expensive junk removal companies out there than there are cheap by far. My mini dumpsters, my mini dumpsters were a perennial powerhouse when it came to marketing. It was a huge marketing tool for me. I don't have them anymore. I have 2 that I have to get rid of. And I don't advertise them as like I used to anymore. But the mini dumpster was a huge step for me because everybody would order it all the time, and I'd have to, empty it out and stuff. And it was a step for my business to take when I developed. As my business was developing, it was a huge step for me. It was a huge step for me. So, I just want to be sure that everybody realizes that we are in a business where the customers don't know what the pricing is, or that there's not a flat rate pricing, and we just have to open our minds to, hey, this is an expensive job, a service, or it's a cheap service. We just have to open how are we going to do it? Of course, cheap always wins too. Cheap always wins. So anyway, I just want to be sure that the customers do realize, if you're a customer and you're watching my videos, do realize you have choices, brother. Pick up the phone and call someone else. They're going to be a lot cheaper. Trust me, they'll be a lot cheaper. Have them come out and do a free estimate, and don't call the big guys. If you know they're sponsored ads, you're screwed. All right, bye-bye.